Hey everyone! So we're diving into episode 6 predictions today, and honestly, I think we've got enough clues at this point to paint a pretty clear picture of where this story is headed. And let me tell you, it's not gonna be pretty. Alright, let's start with the obvious one. Episode 6 is taking us to a farm. I know, everyone's talking about this theory, but hear me out on why I'm so confident about it. The creators have this pattern, right? They love dropping hints about upcoming episodes. We saw it with episode 4 teasing episode 5, and they're doing it again here. In episode 5, Kinger's whole counting eggs before they hatch line.
Hey, Ragatha, can you help me count my eggs before they hatch?
Oh, yeah, of course. Wait, what?
Wasn't just random dialogue. That's farm talk, plain and simple. Then we get Ragatha's backstory drop.
I was born into a fairly wealthy family. We had a large property with horses and chickens, and my mother, my mother was a lot.
Like, come on. That's not subtle at all. The writers are practically spelling it out for us. And can we talk about Jax's corn phobia for a second? Gooseworks confirmed this is real, and it's got to connect to something traumatic. What screams trauma more than a cornfield on a farm? Plus, remember that episode summary leak where episode 6 was described as guns? In a farm context, that could mean hunting, protection, or just the reality of rural life. It all fits together. Here's where things get interesting. Gooseworks told us episodes 5 and 6 are basically Jax and Ragatha's spotlight episodes. After watching episode 5, it's clear these two have some serious history that we're only now starting to unpack. The way episode 5 ended is setting up two major storylines. First, we've got Pomni and Jax walking off together. Meanwhile, Ragatha is having a complete meltdown. She's been barely holding it together since the pilot, and watching Pomni choose Jax over her was the final straw. This girl is spiraling hard. Okay, here's my take on Jax and Ragatha's connection, and I think it's gonna blow your mind. Everyone keeps saying they're siblings, but I don't think that's it. I think their relationship is way more complex. Picture this. Ragatha comes from old money, right? Strict family, high expectations, all that upper-class stuff. Now, what if Jax was a farmhand who worked on their property? Not family, but close enough to develop a bond. Think about it. Ragatha would have been the rich kid trying to be nice to the help, while her family probably treated workers like dirt. That would create this weird protective dynamic we see between them. And it would explain why Jax has such intense trauma around corn. Something bad went down on that farm. So here's what I think is gonna happen. During this farm adventure, both characters are gonna be forced to relive their worst memories. The setting isn't random, it's specifically chosen to break them down. Ragatha's gonna be desperate to prove she's a good person, especially after how things went with Pomni in episode 5. Remember when Pomni basically told her to chill out?
What else?
Okay, let's, calm down a bit.
What? You're the one who said it's fine to be a jerk sometimes. I'm sorry, Pomni. That wasn't very cool of me.
It's fine.
That hurt her way more than she let on. But here's the thing. Ragatha needs Pomni's friendship to survive. Without that validation, without proof that she's worth something, she's gonna abstract. And fast. Episode 5 was the end of the getting to know you phase. Episode 6 is where everything goes to hell. Gooseworks called it the beginning of the storm, and I think they meant it literally. If Ragatha can't fix things with Pomni, if she can't resolve whatever happened with Jax on that farm, we're looking at a complete breakdown. And that mysterious mannequin from episode 5? Yeah, that's gonna become important real quick. This farm adventure isn't just about Jax and Ragatha. It's going to affect everyone in the digital circus. When someone's mental state deteriorates this badly, especially in a setting designed to exploit personal trauma, the consequences aren't isolated. We've already seen how abstraction spreads chaos like wildfire. It's not just the victim who suffers. It drags everyone else down with them. Remember how Kaufmo's breakdown threw the whole cast into panic mode? That wasn't just a one-off. These abstracted individuals leave behind more than just glitchy remnants. They fracture the fragile dynamic between the survivors. And Ragatha? She's not just heading for that cliff. She's sprinting toward it with no brakes. If she abstracts, it won't just be a visual or narrative blow. It'll be emotional carnage. Pomni might carry guilt for pushing her away. Jax might be forced to confront how much of her unraveling is tied to their shared past. Even characters like Kinger, who's barely recovered, or Gangle, who's constantly teetering, could spiral again under the weight of it all. And then there's the gun element from that episode summary leak. In the context of a farm, it could mean hunting, protection, or even a reference to real-world danger bleeding into the virtual. But metaphorically, it could symbolize a turning point. The moment someone makes a decision they can't come back from. A shot fired that changes everything. So whether it's an emotional implosion, a literal confrontation, or the loss of a major character, something, or someone, is going to break in episode 6. And once that happens, there's no going back. Look, I could be completely wrong about all this. These are just theories after all. And the creators do love to mess with our expectations. But honestly, everything we've seen so far is pointing toward episode 6 being an absolute emotional disaster. The farm setting, the character dynamics, the subtle and not so subtle foreshadowing in episode 5, it's all building toward something devastating. This isn't just another quirky episode with a weird setting and some slapstick horror. This feels like a turning point. The moment where the digital circus stops being just strange and unsettling and becomes outright tragic. It's the kind of episode that could completely change how we view these characters, especially Jax and Ragatha, and possibly even shift the entire tone of the series moving forward. We're at the edge of something big. Relationships are strained, mental health is crumbling, and unresolved trauma is starting to surface. If episode 6 really is the beginning of the storm, like Gooseworks hinted, then everything we thought we understood about this world is about to be tested, emotionally, psychologically, and maybe even physically. What do you think? Am I reading too much into this? Or are we actually about to watch everything fall apart? Do you think Ragatha's going to abstract? Is Jax finally going to show us who he really is behind that smug mask? Let me know your thoughts, theories, or wild predictions down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, brace yourselves, because episode 6 might be the one that breaks all of us. See you next time.